So as promised, we talked about it last video, things that can just ruin a VR game. However, there are a lot of early signs in a VR game that can tell you if it's going to be good or bad, at least they can in my opinion. These are 5 things that I notice when I turn on a VR game that I can instantly get feelings if it's going to be good or bad and if it's going to give me that immersive feeling. These are in no particular order and are not always the most important. Some games actually have all 5 of these and it's amazing when they do. Some games have none of these and they're still amazing games. This is not a catch-all. These are just things that I find that when I see them in a VR game, I get really excited and they tend to be good VR experiences. So let's start with the 5 early signs that I see that can dictate and show signs that this VR game is going to be great. And we'll start right now with number 1. So, no menu screens. Menu screens are fine. I love them, they get the job done, but in VR, I think they're not necessary. It is an immersive experience that gives you presence and identity in a game, and it should start right from the menu screen. And there's many games that do this amazingly. Superhot was my first example. Yes, you're put into an apartment complex that's dingy, it's scary, it's a little weird. There's a door that's closed and you have to pick different floppy disks that say different things, put them in, and put the headset on. It set the tone that I'm inside a simulation and something weird is going on, and it was awesome. Another game that does this great, and it's my favorite horror game, The Exorcist Legion. This game puts you right into the headquarters of the police station. You have a hallway that you can look at, your evidence room, which is all the stuff you collected from previous levels, giving a continuation to this amazing story. And you choose your levels by picking the case files off the wall, in your office basically. It's an amazing way that puts you in the presence that you're a detective. The setting of this headquarters is grungy and dirty and the lights are flickering. It sets the tone for a horror game. And when a VR game doesn't have menus, I find that 9 out of 10 times, it's gonna be a fun experience, and that's why that's first on this list. Number 2 of the early signs that you may see in a VR game that could dictate that it is a good game indeed. These are gonna be VR specific reactions. They're things that you need to do in VR that you just won't do in basically, flat gaming, pancake gaming, I'll use that term. Now these can be a lot of things and a lot of games do them, but one of the first that I ever played was the Wizards. Now Wizard, you have to cast spells, and by doing these you use certain hand motions. You may make different spells like this that cast your basically shards that you can shoot at people. You have to reach and do certain motions behind your neck for basically a bow. It's specific spell incantations more or less, or spell incantations in the form of hand gestures that create different spells. So instead of just clicking a button on a joystick like you would in a flat game, you have to create these spells out of thin air by creating motion. It is creating a specific VR action that only you can do there that gets you immersed. Other games do it, like Aperture Hand Labs, having to play rocks, paper, scissors, shoot with the index controllers. It's something that gives presence, gives identity, it's fun. Any game also that, say, someone points a gun at you, if you were to reach above your head and put your hands up, if they then react based on your hands now being above your head, that specific VR interaction, that if I see this early on in the game right away, I have a clear feeling it's going to be a good game. It's a good mechanic and it shows attention to detail, and that's why it's on this list. Number 3 is a little different, but just as important to me. Mods, mods, and mods. You know if a game's moddable before you even play it, so it is an early sign, and definitely is an early sign because you'll know it before you even buy the game if you can. But I've said it once, I've said it a million times, I'll keep saying it. Modders, the modding community can bring more longevity, more life, and just more fun into a game than the game creators can themselves or the game was designed to be. Look at Blade and Sorcery, Gorn, and Beat Saber, all these games that the community is what's kept them alive. And that's what's amazing. It's a good game. The game stands on its own. It does stand on its own, but the modding community keeps it fresh, keeps it alive, and keeps it entertaining. Pavlov has the same thing. And if you're able to mod a game, it is going to create so much value in VR because a lot of games just, I know I hear it a lot, lack some content. Well, modding is that ability now to make the game last longer, be more fun, and if I know a game is able to be modded 9 out of 10 times as well, I think it will be a good VR game. And that's why, again, it's on this list. I'll keep saying it over and over. Now, number 4, bear with me on this one, and it's gonna play a little into number 5, but I think you're gonna understand what I'm going for here. I didn't know how to word this one, but a full body avatar, what that means is some games when you get in, you'll only have your hands. They will be dismembered hands that are out in the floating in the air. Sometimes they're hands, sometimes they're the controllers. And if they're just the controllers in the air, that is a clear sign that's probably not going to be a good game, in my opinion. But games can be good. Even when they're just the floating hands can be good. However, when I see a full body avatar, meaning I can see from my fingertips all the way to my shoulder, whatever my field of view is. If I look down, I can see my body, and if I look down even further, I can see my legs. It creates embodiment, it creates presence, it creates the immersion that I want to see. So when I'm climbing up a ladder or climbing up high, I can see my arms all the way up. It just creates this sense that, hey, this is me. This is me in the VR game. It's not some disembodied rec room, body. And there's nothing wrong with those. There's nothing wrong with them at all. But if I turn on a VR game where I just see that I have a full body, everything has detail, the hands are there, the arms are there, there was detail to things that if you were looking forward, you would never see, like the body, then it's typically an indicator that they understand about immersion. And that's the #1 most important thing to me, and that's why it's on this list. That when I have a full body avatar in a game, like Pavlov for instance, yeah, things can be a little see-through when you look down, but you have a full body. It means a lot. I see it, and usually I'll have a good experience when I see a game do that. Now the final thing on this list kind of goes into that one, but it's going to expand on it a lot more, and it's something you're going to notice right away in most video games. So a realistic inventory system. Now I say this, there's many different ways to do inventory, and they all work. This is not a catch-all. Nothing I'm saying here in this video is a catch-all. However, there are games that understand immersion. This is a little lesser known game. I mean, it's a good game, but A-Tech Cybernetic. I don't know if any of you all played it. It's a first-person shooter zombie game. It's really fun. I enjoy that game. You have a full body avatar in that game. It's full body. You can see everything. However, it's very clever the way your inventory system is what you carry on you. That's your inventory system for the most part. Yes, you can store other guns. You can an unlimited amount of guns on a flywheel, kind of like Pavlov does. But when the guns you're selected are on you, well, you have holsters, they're on your sides. You can look down, they are right there, and you have to grab them. If you need grenades, you put them on your chest, so I have to physically grab the grenade, pull it off, pull the pin, and throw. They are on my body, and I feel that. So when I'm in the heat of battle, and I'm hiding behind a wall, I gotta grab my chest, grab a grenade, reach around, grab my pistol, shoot it, maybe grab my shotgun on the side, but I have to use my inventory that's on my body. Other games do it well as well. We've talked about it once already, but Exorcist Legion. Your inventory system is your Bible. Inside your Bible, you hold all your items. You can flip through your phone, your Bible, all in your hand, but it's always in your hand. So when I'm walking around the hallways with the cross in one hand, my Bible in the other, holding all my inventory there where I can just drop the cross and go grab maybe my spray or something, it's all right there. It's not a detractor. You don't have to go through menu screens or lose your field of view. That's the most important thing. I never lose my field of view when I use those inventory systems because I'm always looking forward. I'm always seeing the game, and the inventory is an extension of my being. It is so immersive and adds to the presence of the game, and that's why if I see that early on in the game, I just know with all this combined, if all 5 of these are presents, I'm gonna have a good time in a game. But like I said, all of these do not have to be presents. Some can, 0 can. Some games have 0 of these, and that is perfectly fine. It can still be a wonderful game. In my opinion, if I see 1 or more of these, there's a high likelihood that there's an attention to detail in this game that's going to lead to a lot of fun. Now there's way more than these, and I may make some offshoots of these videos later on as well if you guys do enjoy them. So if you enjoy it, please leave a like, let me know. But let me know specifically down in the comments, any I missed, anything that makes you happy. Last video that I did, the worst things, you guys just crushed in the comments and I loved it. So keep that up. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. As always, please leave a like to support the video, subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss an upload. I'm Eric for President, guys. I will see you in the next one. See you next time, VR Space Cowboys.